Hey, how you guys doing? So this is Neil from masterpaintnow.com bringing you another free art lesson. I'm one of the top art instructors on Udemy with over 30,000 happy students, all growing and learning. So grow with us. All right, let's get started.
All right, so you guys saw the finished version there of the robot, and that's how she looks when she's all done. She looks pretty cool. And it's how I want to talk about how to achieve realism without having to spend hours and hours and hours. So this whole entire thing only took me 3 hours. Now that includes what you saw there that was already done. I wasn't actually going to even finish this piece. It was just an experiment to see if I liked Coral Painter. And I found this brush pretty cool, the grainy pastel jitter something. That's a really cool brush. And the idea here is, if you just saw the lips there, I literally didn't do any blending on those lips. I just painted colors next to each other, and yet they have a realistic look to them, you know, from a distance. Up close, you know, if you zoom in on them, or if you print it out, you know, at normal print size, the size I was working on, and you get close to the painting, not, you know, you're more than, let's say you're standing 2 feet away, it's going to look realistic, look like realism. But as you get closer to it, you can start to see the brush strokes, and it looks more painterly. And that's all realism was, and still is to this day. That's realism. Photorealism is different. Photorealism is, even if you get really close to it, you know, even just like 6 inches away, if you can see something that close, but if you get really close to like a foot away, it still looks photorealistic, because they sit there and for hours and hours zoom in and noodle on details. And if they're working with paints, they have to get really small brushes and really just sit there and work out all those fine details. And you don't really see photorealism so much in like painting. I guess it's getting more popular with painting a little bit like oil paints, but typically you see it like in pencil work and stuff. And airbrushing was, I think, that made that really popular, where they really got in there and, you know, did a lot of detail. But anyway, with just a few brush strokes, notice those brush strokes were one brush stroke. All the light on her face right now, all the glare, that's catching it from, you know, reflections from different angles. This is actually based on a reference that I've had for a long time, and unfortunately I can't remember where I got. I just saw it online one day and I liked the design. I was like, cool. And so I was just bored. I'm like, I don't know what to paint. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna paint that reference I have. And so yeah, and I'm not trying to stay totally true to the reference either. That's another thing. You want to capture the likeness of it, but I'm not trying to render every little detail exactly as I see it, but just capture the likeness of it, and it's gonna look right. But anyway, so notice that I'm not blending. I'm just laying down individual brush strokes, and I'm letting them serve their purpose, and that's what realists did. And to see this, look at Rembrandt's painting on Wikipedia. So go to Wikipedia and then just type, you know, Rembrandt Wikipedia, and on the homepage for Rembrandt, you'll see at the top right hand side is a portrait, a self-portrait he did. That very first image. Click on that, click it again until you get the biggest image possible. Like, keep opening up until it's the biggest one you got. It's so huge you're only going to see a tiny little fraction of the picture at a time, but you're going to see tons of brush strokes, like tons of texture. And then zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see what you're looking at, like at the eyeball or something. And you'll see that it's crazy. From a distance it looks like realism, but when you get up close, it's like, wow, that's so textury and painterly, and so many, like, he doesn't blend. There's just a bunch of strokes next to each other. If there's any blending, it's by accident. And that's usually how oil painters work. There's very little blending done. And that's realism, which is different than photorealism. And you're going to see me capture that here. Like, notice those wires. I literally capture with a few strokes. And watch this here, this part here. Literally just a few shapes. Okay, cool, got sound back. So literally just a few shapes there. Sometimes Camtasia, when it's auto-saving, I don't know why auto-saves when I'm recording, that's weird. But it does, and it makes it freeze for a second. And just those few strokes, I capture the likeness of this plastic piece of metal, or plastic piece of metal, this plastic shiny piece on her body. And look at that, just a few more strokes, adding the glare and the reflections, and bam, it looks like plastic, and it works, or it looks like metal, one of the two. And then here, I repaint this whole thing again. Now, any blending there is unintentional. It's just happening by the nature of the brush itself. I'm just laying down colors next to each other. I'm not doing that whole alt click, you know, not alt click, but alt paint, you know, so capturing the color right next to it, blend in, blend. That takes so long. Instead, I'm just laying down a color and just like lightly letting it go, and that just kind of adds a natural kind of blend to some things. And but when I work on top of that, though, with all this, it's just individual brush strokes. I'm not worried about getting in there and getting every little detail and things like that. And it really adds, I don't know, this really nice painterly feel to it that I've always enjoyed that about realism and about paintings in general. I also like the painterly style, which is taking realism even to a more laziness. That is using much bigger brush strokes throughout the painting and not really refining it hardly at all. And from a great distance, it might look like something kind of real, like that looks real. But as you get just even 3 feet away, you can already see that it's very painterly. You can already start to see that there's brush strokes and things like that. Whereas this one here, if I printed this out from 2 feet away, it would look like realism. And then you have to get pretty close, about maybe 3, even I think even 2 feet away. You probably have to get about a foot away to really start seeing that. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of brush strokes next to each other. And but it's so hidden well with all these glares and stuff like that. So this is kind of not the best example, but I like the way it came out. It came out nice. I just wanted to talk about that idea of you don't have to sit there and blend everything. You know, let the shapes stand on their own, and they actually look really nice next to each other. And if you study old master painters, you're going to see a lot of them did this. They just let the brush strokes sit next to each other. Unfortunately, a lot of the old masters, the picture that you're looking at isn't going to be very, you're not going to see all the brush strokes because the picture was taken too far away. When they took the photograph, they took it so far away that what you're seeing online is what the camera saw. The camera didn't see the brush strokes, so you're not going to see the brush strokes. You're going to see the painting as if you were standing 3 or 4 feet away from it. That's how you're seeing it. But if you go to a painting at a museum and you look at it up close, you're going to see all those crazy brush strokes and stuff, and you'll be like, wow, this looks like a mess. And like I said, that's one example I gave. You can also look at some Sargent's work up close, and he has some stuff too that when you look at it up close, it's like, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, so hey, if you enjoyed this, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit the little bell notification. But even more so, if you want to be in the loop on things that I do, especially my giveaways. I give away Cintiq tablets, and I'm giving away a Cintiq 12WX. It's the older model, but it's still awesome. They literally last forever, and that's the $1,000 tablet. I'm gonna be giving that away here soon. I already gave away a bunch of stuff. I'm giving away more stuff. I'm always gonna be buying stuff and giving it away. That's just what I do because I like to help artists out. You know, I can easily sell that tablet for $300. And it'll sell like within hours. I can sell it for 400 and it'll sell within probably like 2 days on eBay. But you know, I'd rather give it away to somebody that can benefit from it because I really don't need the money. So yeah, and I'll be giving all kinds of art supplies away continually. So the best way to get in on that, to make sure you don't miss those videos, to make sure you don't miss those chances of winning something, sign up to my newsletter. Super simple. I hardly ever give out newsletters anyway. That is, I will hardly ever send you an email. You'll hardly ever receive a newsletter from me, just once in a while. And it's masterpaintingnow.com. The link's in the description. Click on that link and then just click on newsletter, pop in your email, and you're done. Hit submit, and then you'll get an email sent to you. On top of that, not only you also get my free Bob Ross brushes for both Krita and Painter if you care to download them. And so that will show up in your email. As part of the welcome email, just say, yeah, I want to subscribe to this newsletter, and then in the future you'll get emails from me when I have a giveaway or whatever. And then yeah, anyway, you'll get those brushes for free as well. And those are the brushes I use for all my digital Bob Ross paintings. They're awesome, fantastic in both programs. Painter is better in my opinion. It just captures that oil feel so well. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And please share this video if you've liked it, because the chances are that somebody else will like it too. So pay it forward. All right, thank you. Until next time.